Just clicked on. What's up? Okay, go ahead. All right, all right. If y'all can hear me, type a number 8 in the chat. Let me put the link in the chat for my brother, Unbiased Ron. What's up, S Rush? Why did this must StreamYard must have some new things going on? Because it's like a whole new looking screen. Can y'all hear me and see me well? Hit number 8. If you can hear me and see me well, hit number 8. And let's go. Hold on. Let me get on my tablet, make sure things is okay. I'm gonna put the link for you in the chat. All right, I see the 8s. I see the 8s. Let me put the link for y'all in the chat. Hold on. Nights over Egypt. Boom, 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 boom. Doom, doom, doom. All right, American ladies up in this house. Hold on, y'all. We coming. Let me get my life together. Hold on, y'all. We coming. All right. Link is in the chat. Let me pin it. Oops. Play a song to the homies come in.
At your boy Uncle Cat, that's my #1 fan. Your first I never debate, I put it in your hand. Your niggas never been out of America, Penang, Khartoum, I'm the man of Sudan. Now watch me do my end zone dance. Is that your friend home? It depends on chance. And my pen gone. Where your old homies at? Oh, they been gone. The bearers shoot like Genesis. I ain't even keeping the score. These are scrimmages. Look at them attached to smash these appendages. That's why you ain't got no content. Every show you do, you steady talking about my shit. At your last show, Greg, it really wasn't it. You said Jabari stole the debate and threw a fit. I'm a rock squad, everybody see the split. And Magi the only ones left in this bitch. That's why I took the Facebook group from you. And you ain't try to tell nobody that. You like a fiend, get robbed and be cool as long as don't nobody know. Yeah, that's how he act. Pipsqueak pipe down. You ain't got no scholars, but you Cedric got you wiped down. Juju got you wiped down. Ngozi got you wiped down. It's like your show. I'm killing pseudos right now. And you can't read that metal letter that I write down. Then I prove him and me black people, they tight now. Said I smack your ass, bully. Don't want to fight now. Few of these give a nigga Z's with the night now. And teach a nigga about the smack migration. How atheist dudes doing black libations. Cause the Mac tried patience, but they acting like they hard-headed. So fuck it, they can all get it. That's right, I bust your pinata, act like Nepal said it. Y'all edit up videos that give your dog credit. Authentic author, carcinogenic artist. Y'all should caution your authors. It's been a minute since I checked these feminine minutes. They timid with it. It's magi for life. And Kemet winning. Unlimited images invented by Hemet women. Celestial pools of life. And I'm swimming in them finna kill them. They snakes. They ain't got no venom in them. Really never watch their shows. I'm done dealing with them. When I hear your voice, it's hard to feel a nigga. Sister Naya wrote your book and it was 30 pages. Hey, they jealous of Jabari. The Magi bring the ladies and the fellas to the party. Just embellishing my intelligence. Hell if I be Gotti. Magi just caught a body. I don't know, and they ain't got no recourses. Get them on their show when they won't show sources. 350Z is dropped, they got horses. Little niggas tripping, should've stayed on their porches. Y'all ride poor, my nigga, we ride Porsches. Y'all Wikipedia scholars, we take courses. And the experts agree with me. Kemet on trial, wasn't nothing but G's with me. Brought my New York niggas out. Kemet straight black, yeah, you know what this shit about. Check the pinky, bro, who wearing the ring. If you see me in the streets, bitch, salute the king. I wouldn't pity the thing, I'm like Idi Amin. My committee sent me defending with the wittiest schemes. Hideous schemes, really it's the silliest thing for you to think that you could get me. On this mic, I'm more like Don Cornelius. Raise your hand if you never done an encore. I write the rhymes, DJs drop bombs for. Sitting low, hitting grass with the blade spinning. That's a lawnmower. Y'all should hang that up. That Caracuni interview don't even bring that up. I mean, this the type of nigga steal Moringa from Chief X. When you strung out, stealing is a reflex. I'm killing them. They don't want no beef next. I'm the Bruce Lee of the loose sleep text. If I do sing best, I'm in a new clean test, getting charged.
Wait a minute, what did he say?
I mean, this the type of nigga steal Moringa from Chief X. When you strung out, stealing is a reflex. Y'all should hang that up. That Caracuni interview don't even bring that up. I mean, this the type of nigga steal Moringa from Chief X. When you strung out, stealing is a reflex. Nigga steal Moringa from Chief X. When you strung out, stealing is a reflex. Type of nigga steal Moringa from Chief X. When you strung out, stealing is a reflex. Type of nigga steal Moringa from Chief X. When you strung out, stealing is a reflex. I'm steal Moringa from Chief X. When you strung out, stealing is a reflex. I'm killing them. They don't want no beef next. I'm the Bruce Lee of the loose sleep text. If I do sing best, I'm in a new clean test, getting charged up while you're boosting next. Hey, Smash just killed the whole pseudo killers. 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 Smash just killed the whole pseudo killers.
Right. That was hilarious. Let me call my peoples and see if they're ready to come on. Hold on, y'all.
There's a sky in the east over pyramids at Giza, where there once lived a girl. She ruled the world. Then down the Nile, he came with a smile. He was the king, she was the queen under the moonlight. Your eyes won't believe what your mind can conceive. Nights of reaching, nights of reaching, nights of reaching. In Samson, girls last word. to the music, nights of region. Women feel a heat where there's to be seen by no one. Take a caravan across the Sudan. Saharan facade is just a mirage. Oasis in the sand where life once began under the moonlight. Your eyes won't believe what your mind can conceive. Nights of region.
All right, all right, all right. That's that Virgin by Will Downing, Knights of Egypt. Rest in peace, Will Downing. Um, he's like a jazz R&B. It's a cold little virgin. What's up, chat? My homie Street Sufi up in here.
What's up?
Unbiased. What's up, Street Sufi? I
Peace, peace.
changed your name. I changed your name, Unbiased Sports. So in the title, I put Unbiased Ron. So everybody, we should be calling him
All right, yeah,
Unbiased
thanks.
Ron now. Unbiased
Yeah, can you
Ron.
hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
Okay.
And
Yeah,
we're
because
gonna be calling
the
it.
sports was like people.
Go ahead.
Now I was saying the sports was confusing people. They'll come to my podcast and don't hear sports, and it's like, yo, where the sports at? Yo, this is clickbait. So
Right.
I had to change it.
And we need to start calling Ngozi Street Sufi. Do you agree with that, Street Sufi?
Absolutely.
Peace, man.
Absolutely. Peace to you, brother. Peace, peace, and love.
Peace,
Absolutely.
Oh
Peace
shit, you're nice and clear today, Sufi.
Peace and love. Yes, yes, yes.
So y'all listening right now. Ngozi is from now on Street Sufi, and Unbiased Sports is now Unbiased Ron. He got Unbiased Don
Yes,
Ron.
sir.
What's up? What's up? People in the house, African Teacher up in the house, Donnie Williams, T. Ben Brass, OG Brass is up in here, OG Corey McKinney, right? Armchair Philosopher, the homie, everybody's up in it. American Lady, I love to see you when you up in here. Dr. Banu, Brother Buddha, Wee Boogie is up in here. S. Rush, FBA Defensive Unit. I think that's you, Unbiased Ron. Chef Friends in the house. Yep, Chef Friends up in here. All right, so our conversation tonight, right? Our conversation tonight, 1 second, y'all, is about Marcus Garvey, and it's about Pan-Africanism. But I do want to open up the show because it's a hot topic on social media and around the country right now. The stabbing of the Metcalf kid, and we have the white kid Metcalf, and we have Carmelo Anthony, the black kid. They're up out of Frisco, Texas, and I'm sure everybody heard about it, right? And a lot of us haven't really addressed the issue. We've had brief conversations. I've heard let me get my brothers back on here. I heard Unbiased Ron going in on it earlier today, and he feels like I feel. I'm not sure how Street Sufi feels about this stabbing that went down, but I'm going to give my opinion. It's not a popular opinion amongst black folk, but it's my opinion, and it's a true opinion, and it's based on what I know, the facts, and how I feel. Because, see, I'm a gun guy. All I do is watch gun reviews. I watch protection information. I watch self-defense videos. I watch all that. I got an attorney I follow regularly who's about gun laws and talks about self-defense cases, right? He puts me up on the new things that's going on with gun rights in America, right? I follow all that. Let me tell you something, family. This is a clear case of murder, in my opinion. I don't think he will get convicted of murder. I think he will be convicted of manslaughter. My son played sports, football in basketball from 5 years old up until he just graduated college, playing college football. All we did as parents and different groups was bring tents to the stadium, whether it's a rainy day or a hot sunny day. We want to block the sun. And in personal tents, everybody just don't get up under anybody's personal tent. We, as polite people, would say, hey, do you mind if I sit here under your tent? They'll say, sure, come on, have a seat. And there we go. It's very simple. This is not complicated. It's a thing of respect. See, they had a team tent for their team, not for anybody just to come around and jump up under your tent. When people have tents, ladies and men's have their belongings around under the tent. It is said that Carmelo Anthony came up under these people's tent. They didn't know who he was. They had personal belongings all over the place. And yes, people are going to be skeptical when some stranger comes up around your personal bags and your personal belongings and up under your personal tent. This is not rocket science. And they asked him to leave. From my understanding, he was up in there heckling a few times and talking a little shit. He wasn't in there being friendly. And they asked him to leave. Kids fight. Kids argue. This is a normal thing. Right? Now, what happened was he asked him to leave. He didn't get jumped. He didn't get punched. None of that. The guy touched him, it says. In the police report, Carmelo Anthony himself said he touched him or shoved him. He reaches into the bag, stabs the man in the damn heart. And I hear none of you guys talking about proportionality. And not only did he stab him, this is his knife he brought to a track meet. And I'm going to finish up and let Unbiased Ron and Street Sufi give an opinion, and then we're going to get to the topic. He brought his knife to school. Whether he bought it from the store or not, I don't know. But you bring your knife to the track meet. After you stab the kid, you break and run away, and you throw the goddamn knife somewhere. I'm going to throw my own knife that I bought? Why would I do that? That's strange behavior, right? In self-defense, you cannot stab or shoot and kill somebody because they touched you. You can't stab, shoot, or kill nobody because they pushed you. You can't stab, shoot, or kill nobody when you're in a street fight with somebody, and just because you're losing, you want to stab and shoot them and kill them. That's not self-defense. It's not self-defense. I'm not going to make an excuse for murder. Now, It's called proportionality. You can't use deadly force on someone just on a whim. Imagine if you guys got your way and just felt it was okay to kill some goddamn body because they touched or pushed you. Can you imagine somebody bumping somebody in a club and they talking shit and all of a sudden you stab and you kill? You'd have a murder fest all over America. Stand your ground really don't relate to this incident because it wasn't no deadly force attack. If it's a deadly force attack against you, then you can use deadly force. If somebody slaps me, I can't pull out my pistol and blow their brains out. I'm going to jail for murder. That's not self-defense, people. These laws are not that complicated. They're written black and white. Look at it like this. It's not even a race issue. Just say you got two kids. In your mind, erase the fact that one is black, one is white, whether they were Mexican or Samoan. It doesn't fucking matter. You don't stab nobody in the heart for touching you or even pushing you. That's not self-defense according to the law. It's not according to Chief X. It's according to the law. Damn near in all 50 states. I don't care if it was raining heavy or not. Get with your team and do your thing. If it was a junior high school incident and a little black girl was at junior high and she told another little black girl, bitch, I'll kick your ass with your little nappy head, old monkey looking big lip bitch. And she hit the other little girl. If the other little girl pulls out a knife or a gun and blows her away or stabs and kills her, that's wrong. We can't have no vigilante, wild shit going on in America. There's rules for a reason to prevent chaos in just a murder fest. These are two kids having a disagreement. One overreacted. Goddamn, it's not that simple, hard to say that and be honest. You overreacted. He was wrong. I'm not donating to someone committing murder. I'm not. Just like you guys wouldn't donate if he was of another race, you would say that motherfucker's wrong. If a Mexican kid stabbed another Mexican kid, every black folk would say they are wrong for that. They overreacted. Now, if the other white kid had a knife or a bat, then he can use deadly force because the other person's using deadly force. Proportionality. Now I'm going to stop. Unbiased Ryan and Street Sufi. Do you have any opinion on this?
I mean, I agree. I definitely believe it was murder. I don't want to play the race card game when people try to make it seem like because of the he's a specific color, it's the reason why he was murdered. First of all, for him to carry a knife into the tent or have a knife prior before going into the tent, that means he had intentions prior before going in there. Also, if someone touch you, if you understand self-defense or stand your ground, especially in a place like Texas, you just can't. If they touch you, just pull out a gun or a knife, stab them or shoot them. So it absolutely was murder, and it wasn't worth him murdering him over that. But it had to be premeditated prior before for him to be able to even bring that knife in there, and then want to stab this individual. If they could have just tussled and fought, that's one thing. You win, you lose, you lose, you win. But for anybody to try to make it a racial thing, it really shows how poor, how poor people comprehension level of what race standards is and what race is and what is not, and trying to play that racial game. So I don't think that we should look at it any type of way outside of it was murder. What went on prior before, I don't know. But for him to carry that knife there before going inside of there or before going into the tent before the game or whatever they had going on, it doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? If they could have just duked it out evenly, it would have been great. So I definitely agree with you. It was definitely murder. And I don't want to play the victim black game and we're black and we get this and we get that. And this is why this type of stuff happened. I don't see it in that way. But I don't know what happened prior before. I just know that some people are saying that the young man was being bullied before this. Some people are trying to say that the kid was saying an N-word to him. We don't really know what's going on, but we also know that when these type of things happen, the race card always happens, or they always bring it up to say this is why it happened. So, but it definitely was murder.
Unbiased Ron.
Yeah, can you hear me?
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I'm having some type of feedback. All right. Okay, so I wrote down some things. All right. So like Chief, I study a lot of self-defense uh, laws. I like to watch trials on self-defense. Like you can name the most recent popular trials. I was really in tune to those. I've been talking about self-defense on my channel for the longest. I cook stewed peas, crazy stuff on here. So let me tell you this. So now, the constitutional law, it trumps state laws, it trumps city ordinances, it trumps business policies. So even though it might not look good to carry a knife into certain, venues and a gun, your Second Amendment right allows you to do that. Now, even though a school policy might not favor that, it doesn't trump your constitutional right. So it doesn't look good, but you are allowed to carry where your state, as long as it don't contradict your state law. But let me say this with that. I believe the state is going to ask his friends and peers, how often does Carmelo Anthony carry a knife? Because if they say never, then I'm going to agree with Ngozi, premeditated murder, because that's going to be crucial. If they say no, he never carried weapons, and then now it's looking like you carried it for this reason. Yes, Chief, Street Sufi, it's distasteful to get in a tent that's not yours, but according to the self-defense law, you have that right as long as it's legal to do so. So he was legally within his rights to sit where he wants to sit. So that's a fact. Now, I agree with you guys. You got to meet force with force. The dude came with his fist. You got to come with your fist. You can't bring a knife to a fist fight. You can't bring a gun to a knife fight. All right. And especially if you believe that systemic racism is well and alive, right? Why would you flirt with that? So to have a real self-defense case, I don't know any of them where it was no contact and a guy just started stabbing somebody and he got away. Just the ones I watched, the trials I watched, the cases I know of, you have to be in imminent danger of losing your life or
Keyword
severe bodily harm,
that is the
right?
key. That's the key word.
What I
Unbiased
believe should
Ron.
have happened for Carmelo Anthony is to allow the guy to swing on him, and land, and then pull your knife out. I think he had a better case with that. Okay, I'm just being real, and I'm saying it ain't looking good for old boy. I don't even. Hey, how about this? I don't even believe the judge is going to accept the self-defense defense.
I agree with you.
I don't even think it's going to fly. I think the judge is going to say nope, guilty or not guilty. I don't think the self-defense is going to fly. How
I
about
agree with
that?
you. I agree with you, Ron. So I listened to. I said, let me go on YouTube
And
and
then
watch.
last thing, so I Kadia put something on the screen, which is very important because you can't be involved in any way to start the fight. So yeah, touch me and see what happens. I believe that's going to come back and bite them because they can see that as taunting. The right argument, the right cross examination, you can see that as taunting. So that's all I got for right now.
So it already comes off as premeditated. If he's saying touch me and see what happened, he came in with a knife, touch me and see what happened attitude, and then he touched him and then he literally stabbed him in his heart. So how could it look for him if that's what happened? If he said touch me and see what happened, that's premeditated. He
Yeah.
already put in his mind the day before. I'm gonna go. I wish somebody would say something to me. This, if they do, it's up. You feel me? So if he already went in there like that, what other way do it look like outside of murder? He it was premeditated. So evidently it was already something going on between him and this individual for a long time for him to build up this much frustration to say, you know what, touch me and see what happened. You know what I'm saying? It ain't like they couldn't just been new to each other. It's crazy.
Right. So once he says, "Touch me and see what happens," that's called in the eyes of the court provoking or taunting, and statement in itself kind of throws out self defense as a defense. And the key word Ron, unbiased Ron said, and we can move on. In order to use deadly force, right? We're not even talking about excessive force, right? To use deadly force, you have to fear imminent death. Imminent death has to be upon you, and you kill or shoot or stab because you fear imminent death. He didn't fear no way close to no imminent death with 100 coaches around in broad daylight at a school setting with friends and family around. It wasn't like it was some back alley in the dark at night, anything like that. There's no way in the world he feared he was about to be killed. So he's pretty much toast, but I do think he will end up getting a manslaughter charge when it's all over, which I think carries about 20. He'll do about 20 years. Probably get out, maybe 10. They might give him 15 years because I think 20 years is the max in Texas for manslaughter. Don't quote me, but let's just say they give him 15 years. He'll do 10 years. He'll be out by 27 with plenty life to live. Okay, it's a sad situation all the way around. Okay, but the brother, um, he's guilty of that, and there's a no way to win in court. What you say? All right, so we're gonna get into this topic. I'm gonna let Street Sufi and an unbiased Ron get down on this. I don't have any notes. I don't have a screen to share. My shit will just be off the top of the head. But I know this topic is dear to the heart of unbiased Ron. Street Sufi has some things to say.
Mhm.
And what do you guys want to talk about? Marcus Garvey first or Pan Africanism?
I, um, I'll speak a little bit about Pan Africanism and Marcus Garvey. I don't know if the brother if you wanted to go first, bro. I was just gonna go back. But we could talk about Marcus Garvey
No,
and
you
I
got
guess
it.
okay, and Pan Africanism and what it should stand for, and if it's still relevant today with
And
Popular Group.
take your time. Just go in, Street Sufi. Go
So
in.
okay, well, first thing I wanted to say is big ups to, I think I told you about this. I want to give a shout out to Armchair Philosophy. I want to say this out loud. I see what he did in a comment section somewhere, and if anybody think that brother's racist, I can't say he's not racist. He literally stood up for black people when people were making fun of them, and he stood his ground on that. And I think people got to give Armchair Philosophy a chance, even though sometimes people may think that. But if you in here listening, I want to shout you out. I just want to say that out loud. Um, as far as Marcus Garvey, um, his organization. I think a lot of the African Americans don't really understand Marcus Garvey because when people get absorbed in Pan Africanism, they tend to get absorbed in the idea of just being black and just sticking together as black people in the older days between the 80s, 60s, and 70s, and even in the 1940s and 30s. And I think they don't really understand what Marcus Garvey movement, the NAA, I mean, I'm sorry, the UNIA was about when he created in 1914 in Jamaica, and what was his real intentions or agenda when he had created this organization. So a lot of black people, they don't do a lot of research in America to know what's the standard of Pan-Africanism or what his idea of Pan-Africanism really was. That's why the Pan-Africanism idea that we had morphed into all types of things. At first, it was all about Africa, Africa, Africa. Then it went into Hebrew Israelites. Then it went into Nuwapianism, and then it went into the pollution of taking people's identity and making everybody black, and then pushing yourself away from Africa, right? So when you really study it, and you study him and W.D. Du Bois, and you study the NAACP, what happened between them two, Marcus Garvey had his own personal agenda. He got involved in money laundering and different things, and people know that history. But when you start studying NAACP, what we had already in America, the Africans in North America, African Americans, we were more about integration, getting education, getting absorbed into society, and not just putting the idea of race first, because race first is not an ultimate reality, especially when the race that we represent globally isn't together collectively. Never was. That's why a lot of us is in the situation that we are in. America is only 248 years old. And when you know that America is 248 years old and you live in a multicultural society like America that is predominantly white and African Americans make up 14%, I think it's 46 million of us, it's impossible for us to be banded collectively to say, hey, we want to be just one thing, this one black thing, and this one government. Integration is what you have to do in this world, especially a society that's driven by capitalism and a new world market that's based off numbers. You can't be like, okay, because in Africa, there is no such thing as Pan-Africanism. So the idea of Pan-Africanism is beautiful as an idea, but it's not a reality. The government, well, like what benefits me in this country wouldn't benefit me if I go live in Nigeria or if I talk about staying in Nigeria, Ghana, or Sierra Leone. We have our own governments, we have our own things going on, and it's driven by two different systems. So when you study W.D. Du Bois and you study Ida B. Wells when they created when they had the NAACP, the standards that they had over here in that setting was much more better when you understand education, integration in a multicultural society that was in, even though we were rejected in the earlier phases of North America. And in some cases, some people may still look at it. But it makes better sense to be in an institution when it's not fully you, and also to force yourself to be put or pour yourself in a collective based off race wouldn't make sense. Now, and I'm not saying, Marcus Garvey idea of Pan-Africanism wasn't a beautiful idea, but it's not a reality and it'll never work. I mean, people in Ghana don't care about what people in Nigeria is doing. People, even amongst the city that I'm in, if you from 63rd, they don't care about what people off 64th is doing. It's not a collective. So the idea of Pan-Africanism collectively, as if we're one, is really problematic. So Marcus Garvey, I think it was a failed movement. And I think he had his own personal stuff going that's a little bit distinct in the African Americans that we had with NAACP. And some some phases of his characteristic really don't fit for the overall Black American standard. Even when African Americans went back to Africa as Liberians, they went over there and it was strife already amongst the Liberians when you study them and what it went on. And then you have the Mindi Creoles that went into Sierra Leone. So we already have our set ethnic group and our set bracket that forms African Americans, or I say FAA, foundational African Americans, and some people say foundational Black Americans. But we already have a set standard that's distinct from population groups back home on the continent. Yes, it's the mother continent, but people got their own setting and their own thing and their own stuff. Pan-Africanism would never be a reality. It doesn't work. And Marcus Garvey had a failed organization. The idea of it was beautiful, but the NAACP, what they had going, to me, made better sense than the UNIA that was formed in 1914. We had the NAACP in 1909. That's all I wanted to say.
I appreciate that. I appreciate that. And um, unbiased Ron
Oh yeah,
about to be long winded and in depth on that, and I love it, and I want you to be. So
yeah, yeah.
do your
Well, I'm gonna
thing. But let me just say this
I'm gonna
before
pause
you
here
go.
and there. Yeah,
Let me say this before you go, unbiased Ron. I tell people Pan Africanism died in the 60s with Kwame and Nkrumah, right? And I say this all the time, right? 6 years ago, I made a video and people got pissed off at me and they got their panties all in a bunch because I said Pan Africanism died. Now they're slowly starting to come around and understand what I meant and shit like that, right? So Kenya, and I was making this men and go street Sufi was talking. I said Kenya don't give a fuck about Jamaica. Nigeria don't give a shit about Morocco. Uganda don't give a shit about Haiti. Nor do they give a shit about Black America. Everybody has their own country, their own agenda, their own problems, issues, and things like that. Nobody gives a damn. And on top of that, before you go, Ron, there's no committee. There's no Pan African committee. There's no Pan African leader. I mean, who you talking? When was the last Pan African meeting you went to, or have you ever been to one? Nope. I'm 55. I've never seen one. It's all a fantasy and something that sounds good. It makes you feel good, like Pan Africanism, all Africans, all throughout the diaspora. Yeah, it's just some feel good talk. Something for cats to, act like you really got something going on and together. That's all I want to say. Go ahead, Ron.
Chief X, can I say something before, brother? Run, Unbiased support both of you guys. Can I say something real fast before?
Yes, sir.
So I just want to add on to what Chief X said. That's absolutely right. Listen, I see people in the chat. African Americans are Americans. You don't have to identify with African if you don't want to. We are just as American as any other American. And yes, white Americans are not identified as European. They are Americans. And it's the same thing with African Americans. But here's the thing about America. Within America, because we live in a country that's based off democracy, you can call yourself whatever you want to call yourself. So the whole thing is that you have Irish Americans, you have Polish Americans, you have Italian Americans, and they still recognize that. But overall, they are Americans. And some people just don't want to identify as those things, and that's okay. African American only exists within America if you choose to call yourself that. If an African American and a white American, or go to China, they're going to have more in relation to one another, amongst one another, than the Chinese citizens or a Nigerian that lived in China. The white American and the black American are going to look at themselves like we got more in common than a British immigrant over there or a Nigerian immigrant over there. They're going to have more in common. And the Nigerian tends, I'm sure, because a lot of them go to the UK before coming here, they're going to have more in common with the British than they would with the African American or the black American. So American is an American, and American way is the American way. So yes, if you choose to call yourself just American, that's fine. But at the end of the day, in America, they have this game, this bracket game that's still being played with a lot of people. When they see you, they call you black, and they call you black because what? Because people who descend from sub-Saharan Africa. Black just don't exist, or I'm just saying, for those who, if you people can disagree, black just don't exist for the African American. People on the continent that's sub-Saharan Africa, African, is also classified as black. When they go to the UK, the black Brits, a lot of these people are Afro-Caribbeans, and some of these people are Nigerians and other West Africans. Black is a racial cluster, even though you can say it's a social construct, but the bracket still exists. The nomenclature still exists. When it comes to race, they are labeled as black, even though they have their own personal ethnic groups, the same way an African American, as an American overall, he has his own ethnic group within the American nationality. So yes, we are fully American. That's 100% correct. But if you choose not to call yourself African, you don't have to. But within America, when people see you, and majority of America is 75% is of European descent, primarily white. The rest, you have the Latinos, and a lot of them have their own racial classification between Afro Latino and white Hispanic. If you look at the news, the racial classifications, they also help add on to the white population, and there's nothing wrong with that. That's just the dominance of society. Black Americans only make up 14%. African immigrants within North America only make up less than 2%. So they're not the overall immigrants that's coming here compared to people that's coming from Venezuela and Guatemala, Mexico, and all these other places at a larger percentage. So I'm just saying you can call yourself whatever you want to. And yes, we are fully American and we are just as American. Matter of fact, black Americans have been here longer than Trump ancestors. Trump ancestors came here, they're German immigrants. Study them, study his father.
We like American pie.
That's what it is. That's what it is. And you know the good thing, Chief X, this is a good thing about being an African American or a Black American. A lot of us been here longer than a lot of the white population is here, believe it or not. Especially after the Great Depression, when a lot of European immigrants started coming here. Trump family wasn't here longer than some Black Americans that was living in Mississippi and Alabama and Louisiana. So of course the African Americans or the Black American is the base foundation of this country that's only 248 years old. The first people that was kidnapped and brought here from the continent was 500 years ago, and they still had an underground slave trade after 1865. So I mean, it's a beautiful thing. So yes, we're fully American.
Yeah. Before you go, Ron, Nigeria needs to worry about Nigeria. Ghana needs to worry about Ghana, right?
That's right.
They talking about building something, all this, all wasting money, all them people ciphering money off the top. The community's poor. I went to an orphanage in Ghana. They don't even help the kids. The kids in Ghana at the orphanage get money from donations from us and philanthropy. Government don't give a shit about them damn kids.
Nope.
Nigeria and Ghana better worry about themselves. Okay, Ron, go ahead.
All right, y'all just alley me so many ideas, right? Away from where I was gonna go. First of all,
Take your
RIP.
time and go as long as you want,
Yeah.
man.
So first of all, now I'm gonna cook and then let y'all go and cook. But RIP Pan Africanist. Africanism today is over. All right, for one, let's get back on Nigeria. How can we unite with people who are sending their elite class to this country? Why are we going to their country? Where they leave the have-nots over there, the poor, the uneducated, and the unemployed. That's who's left in Nigeria. They're dealing with a severe case of brain drain. Matter of fact, them, Zimbabwe, just name the African country, and also Jamaica are dealing. They're like top 5 in countries with brain drains. All right, brain drain is when they send their elitists, their top educated, most wealthy, to America, UK, or Canada. So when we go over there to unite, we're uniting with the thieves and, like you said, the ciphers and no, we want to unite with the elitists, but they're over here and they're not trying to link up with us. That's number one. Number two, let's talk about Pan-Caribbean. Okay, let's talk about the West Indies Federation. So they tried their own Pan-Africanist stuff in 1958, and guess what? It wasn't their idea. It was the white man idea for all those Caribbean islands to get together and form like a brick, right? A European nation. And guess what? It lasted 4 years before they started infighting, and that's where we get the term West Indies from. They were trying to drop Jamaican, drop Trinidadian, and come under the term West Indie and have a centralized bank, centralized government, but they wouldn't give up their nationalities. Okay, so they were saying, I'm Jamaican West Indian, I'm Trinidadian West Indian, I'm Barbados West Indian. They wouldn't put West Indian first, and Jamaica left real fast. It ended in just 4 years. So don't talk to me about Pan-Africanism when you had the Pan-Caribbean thing that flopped in 4 years. I mean, no real investment in there at all. All right. So that's number two. So your elitist is over here. The poor, uneducated, and corrupt is back in your countries. That's why most of the countries are just corrupt. They got a lot of corruption there. It's nothing to work with them. Like, they're really starving for resources. The healthcare system is broken. The education system is garbage. A lot of kidnapping, trafficking. Look, I ain't got nothing to do with that. How about this? So not only did the British government say, "Hey, Caribbean, unite and become a superpower," right? It was the white man's idea. Also, it was the white man's idea to take your butt to Liberia.
Say that again.
It was the white man's idea to take your black butt to Liberia. Okay, so ain't nobody been more Pan Africanist than the white man. That's your daddy. Okay, so the only black man that I know who had, and he didn't go to Liberia. He went to like Sierra Leone. Was Paul Cuff. So Paul Cuff was a Ghanaian, and he had a Native American. His dad was Ghanaian, and his mom was Native American. And he was born free. He was a wealthy businessman. Guess what? He didn't do what Garvey did: collect donations, scam folks. He built his own fleet of ships. He was a wealthy man in the early 1800s. So he financed his own trip to Sierra Leone. He took 38 other foundational Black Americans with him. Okay, and I think he came back. So it wasn't so green over there as they thought it was. But not just him. Let's talk about Martin Robinson Delaney. Y'all brag about him. Oh, Africa for the Africans. Well, guess what? He came back and said America for the Americans. Right? He died an American. All right. How about, you want to brag about Richard Allen? Okay, he founded the African AME Church. Well, guess what? He never left. He dropped the idea right away and died as a proud American. Okay, so all these guys were talking that Pan African stuff. How about Alexander Crummell? He went over there. He ain't died over there. He came right back over here and died as a proud American, because a lot of them knew that they can't drop the legacy. They did all this building this country, laying the foundation, and they said, "Nah, we just can't let our ancestors go like that. We have a duty to come over here and fight for what? Citizenship." Now, watch this. Watch this. All those guys I named, every last one of them that went to Liberia, they were all free blacks. All right, so they had their freedom. So, but their issue was, and check this out, Ngozi and Chief X. This is why the Dred Scott case failed. Okay, so this is real. I'm gonna sum it up real easy. It
He's
failed
gonna
because,
break down why the Dred Scott case
yeah,
failed.
and yo, you guys would never forget this. It failed because he had no American citizenship. That was 1857. So all those free blacks, none of them had American citizenship. So they were just sitting ducks. They were being discriminated against. Violence was coming to them. People were depriving them of things, and they were being treated very badly because they had no American citizenship. So this is why some of them was looking at Africa. Okay, they're looking at Africa like, hey man, it can't be much worse than this, and they found out, it was. That's why they all came back. All right, but that's what the Dred Scott case was about. It was about American citizenship. So check this out. So when those proud blacks went over to Africa, Sierra Leone, Nigeria, wherever it was at, Liberia, when they found out that the Civil War in 1863, Abe Lincoln passed a law where we could join the war and get citizenship, they all flocked over here. I'm talking about the elitists. The dumb ones didn't. But the elitists came right back over here. All the smart ones, educated, Harvard, all those folks, Delaney, came back over here and fought for their citizenship and died proud Americans. They dropped that Pan-African BS. All right. So now, the ACS. The ACS is the American Colonization Society. By the way, I'm outside. I'm just freestyling cooking. I'm
Yeah, but
outside.
make
Right.
sure
My
you speak
son.
straight into the mic. Make sure you speak straight into the mic.
Okay.
We can hear you
So
though. But
my son little he was going to fit. So I came outside. I
repeat
came
that again. What society you said so they can hear?
American Colonization Society. So they were the ones who were redirecting free blacks to Liberia. That was their idea. They owned Liberia, right? It was a colony of, and they were white supremacists, by the way. They weren't good white abolitionists. They were white supremacists, and a lot of them were slaveholders, right? And they funded this because they didn't want these free blacks to inspire enslaved blacks to either revolt or buy themselves out of slavery because they wanted to maintain slavery. And they also wanted them out, although they was free, they didn't want them to coexist equally. So they never had equality, in the bag for them. So they said, okay, let's redirect them um, to Liberia, something we own and control. And they end up funneling. They end up by helping. Now they had a whole organization where they helped pay for enslaved blacks to get out of slavery, and others, but it was contingent on going to Liberia. Other enslaved people were manumitted on the basis of going to Liberia, and guess what? And Ngozi, they didn't have a choice. Hey, go to Liberia, the free blacks, go to Liberia or go back to slavery, and that's what they was faced with. So a lot of them just went off just off
Did you
that.
know that? Did you know that Street Sufi? He said they go to
No,
Liberia or remain in
no,
slavery.
Yep.
no. I had no idea that. That's
Yep.
crazy.
Or
No,
go back to, this is the free blacks. Go to Liberia or go back to slavery. And this is how they was able to get 12,000 to 15,000 American blacks over there to, or you could say the free blacks over there to Liberia. And then they was called the Americo, what they call them, Americo Liberians, right?
Amerigos. Yeah,
Yeah.
Amerigos. Yeah.
Now watch this. Why do they call themselves that? Because they understood, like we understand today, that they need a unique identifier in Liberia from everybody else. So that's how they came with that name. They knew it was important to be called something unique from everybody else that was in the land. Okay, so that's what happened with them, and they were, they had their problems over there, corruption and things like that. But the idea, the most successful Pan Africanists were white supremacists. They got 15,000 over there. Marcus Garvey got what, two, three? And look, so this answers the question: why did Marcus Garvey link up with the Klan? And I'm saying because Marcus Garvey seen the Klan as a modern version of the ACS.
Hmm.
He felt like they had the money to help fund this ship crazy idea to get black folks to Liberia. Why did he choose Liberia? So he already understood what was going on with the ACS, and he seen them as a big body of white folks who desperately wanted us out of the country, like the ACS. So let me work with white supremacists like the ACS who want black people out the country. So I'm gonna drop the mic on that and let y'all cook, and I'm gonna come behind.
So I didn't know this until maybe about 3, 4 years ago. Street Sufi and Unbiased. That I was reading a lot of them stories. I don't know if you touched on this just now, but the Black Americans. Would you say they called them Amerigos on Street Sufi?
Yeah,
Okay, so the Black Americans that went over to Liberia, um, eventually a lot of them began to enslave the indigenous Liberians that were already there. Like, can you imagine you leaving America up out of slavery, then you go over there and enslaving other people? Like, so this is why I be saying, like, if West Africans and Central Africans had ships that were able to sail to other places and cross large body oceans, oh, they would have been enslaving people too and putting niggas on ships. Don't trust and believe. When black Africans would have been putting folk on ships, whether they was white, Arab, whatever, they would have been practicing slavery. Because guess why? Because they was already practicing slavery on each other before they even seen a white man. All of nobody got clean hands. Everybody has immoral people, and people have people who with good morality. It's no special people. We all fucked up and will do some fucked up shit. You get what I'm saying? Go ahead, Ngozi. I don't know if you muted yourself or what, Ngozi. You took off for a minute. What do you want to say about? 'Cause we can't hear Ngozi right now. Unbiased. What do you think about blacks enslaving others out there?
Yeah, so let me cook on that. All right, so the ACS, the white supremacists, they were confident that would happen because they knew that they would go there with Christian values, right? And they knew they would go there with the civilizer, concepts. They would look at those folks over there, which was kind of true. They were living like more of like a gather hunting, barbaric lifestyle. So they knew that the free blacks would go over there and try to work with them. But some of them felt like they were not on their level because they were highly some of them, for some of the free blacks, were highly Harvard. We're talking about Delaney was a Harvard graduate. So these guys are highly skilled. These are the first talented 10th. I think Alexander Cromwell is what inspired W. Du Bois to do the talented 10th because he was talking about bringing an elitist class to Liberia to civilize. And even Richard Allen said he went to civilize the indigenous people in Liberia.
Hey, could you guys hear me now?
Yes,
Yep.
yes.
So I don't want to cut your wisdom, brother. So I just want to make sure I
No, I
can
was
be
done.
heard. Okay, I want to add on what Chief X said was right, and what you just said, what I caught on the last end was definitely on point. It's kind of like it's crazy or stupid for a African American or Black American to leave, give up his citizenship to go to underdeveloped countries, especially where you have countries that already have natural scraps already, right? Or stripes going on amongst them. Nigerians speak over 500 languages and they don't see each other the same ethnically. You have multiple ethnic groups there. So it's not going to ever be a real kumbaya when it comes to a Black American movement to the continent of Africa and he's going to live peacefully. You can see that with some African Americans that move to Ghana, the pushback. You can see something with some of the African Americans that move to Gambia, the poisoning of a few elder ladies over there when they poisoned them. You can see it with African Americans that move to Kenya. These people don't even see each other as a single ethnic group. In Africa, the portions that we come from, sub-Saharan Africa, they were never unified as a people. Even if you study the ancient Bantu expansion that happened a long time ago from Cameroon, and they started to go into different portions of East Africa and South Africa, they wiped out a lot of groups that no longer exist and got absorbed into newer and created these newer clusters amongst them. So what I'm saying is that we do not come from a kumbaya population. An African American represents a confederation of different ethnic groups that was merged together in the new world that lost its ethnic clans and had no other choice but to be branded as black because that's all we had because that's what they seen first. So you're no longer the Yoruba, you're no longer the Ashanti or the Khan, the Tikar, the Bimelike, the Pula, the different groups that were taken. You have a new identity in a new ethnic group that was set in a new world. And to be honest with you, in the diaspora, African Americans have a set cluster. It's 46 million of us as a single ethnic group. So it doesn't make sense for Black Americans or African Americans to go back to a continent where there's already division going on. Their governments does not benefit us. When you deal with environmental changes, when an organism goes to another place after it's been somewhere for 500 years to 400 years, organisms tend to die quicker. So if you think you're going to go somewhere in an environment and you're not suitable for the environment because you've been in a place like California, New York, or Chicago, or Detroit, or wherever you at for so long, and you think you're going to go over here and it's going to be a kumbaya, you have a lot of stuff that go on. We have a lot in the medical industry over there is horrible. You can't get medication. It's underdeveloped. It's a lot of things and qualities about over there that's problematic to a person that's been in America for a very long time. So I think it's very beautiful for us to embrace America. It's pros to this country and it's pros to being an American. So that's all I wanted to say.
Go ahead, Unbiased.
Yeah, let me cook on Garvey. All right. So Garvey was a clown. All right.
Uh
And
oh.
yeah,
They
Garvey
gonna
was a
get you. They
clown.
gonna get you unbiased,
Nah,
man.
they won't dare click
Unbiased
that link.
Ron, you. They gonna get your ass,
Yeah,
man.
they won't dare. I've been chasing them, by the way. I've been in their spaces, on their videos, chasing them. I got one guy to pull up and he got cooked. So I've been chasing them. Brother Reggie don't even want to talk Marcus Garvey with me. All right. So anyway, Marcus Garvey, a scam and fraud. First of all, he came over here with something we were not even thinking about. You know, if you go back to Frederick Douglass said, he said, our sweat and blood was in this country. We are proud Americans. So when he reached out to Booker T. Washington, well, guess what? This is what they don't talk about. Booker T. Washington was a proud American. He believed in building things in America and staying here. He didn't believe in fleeing the country and trying to start all over, like Ngozi eloquently stated. So Marcus Garvey came with an idea that was foreign to our black leadership at that time. This is what he cooked on them. So when he came and started selling his fraudulent stocks, because he has background at a printing press in Jamaica, so he knew how to forge some stuff. So he comes over here with unlicensed stocks, illegitimately selling stocks, and guess what? He got fined for that. He got fined for selling unregistered, unlicensed stocks, $100. At that time, I believe it's like 10,000 now, considering inflation. So he was penalized for being a fraud with stocks. Okay. So this is what he did. He came over here and he was pitching ideas, these beautiful Dr. Umar large school, projects that was nobody can do. Hey, I'm gonna bring you guys back to Africa, to Liberia, because the white man is just so terrible. But meanwhile, people like A. Philip Randolph is over here conquering and winning labor rights and union rights and child labor acts. So they're accomplishing stuff in America, and they're gaining ground, right? They're trying to get equality, equal wages. They're doing real activism work. A. Philip Randolph is the father of the civil rights movement, right? He mentored Dr. King, by the way, and he spoke at Washington. Anyway, so he came with that message, and guess what? He linked up with them. He linked up with A. Philip Randolph, W. Du Bois, and other leaders. He didn't link up with Booker T. Washington because he had already passed away. But he didn't come with Booker T. Washington message about building something in America, being highly skilled and great. That's not his message. His message was, let's get on ships, let's flee the country entirely, and let's forget about what your ancestors did. Forget about the stuff that's owed to you for cheap labor, free labor. Forget about convict leasing, the pianist system. Forget about the HOLC. Forget about the Social Security Act, GI Bill. Forget about 1862 Homestead Act for white folks. Forget about all welfare, ADC, AFDC. Forget about all that stuff which locked you guys out of wealth for 100 years. Forget about all that's due to you. Just flee, because he has no ties. So it was easy for him to do that. But we were not thinking like that. We were trying to build something here and be left alone and be respected under the constitutional rights and our state laws, right? So that's what we were fighting for largely. So when he came with this weird idea about fleeing the country, they charged him with, our leaders, our intellectuals, charged Garvey with succouring the masses, right? The unintellectuals, which is kind of easy to do. You can do it now, right? You can do it now. Like, you usually scam the people who don't know better. The people who are smart with the type of self-worth don't fall for scams, but the vulnerable typically fall for the scam. So they charged Marcus Garvey with that, taking advantage of people hard-working money. Now, you want to brag about Marcus Garvey businesses? Stop, because he bought the businesses with the stock money, the so-called stock money. He didn't have no separate income
He
where he
bought the
pushed
business with the
aside.
donations.
Yes, 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 he did.
Okay.
Yes, he
Unbiased,
did. So this,
unbiased sport. Can I ask you a question? Is it
yes,
there's I don't know if it's a rumor or not, but there's something about he had a lady killed. Is that true? Do you know anything about some woman being killed or getting killed by him?
I haven't came across that, but what I will say that his squad was known to be violent goons.
Yeah, yeah. He had a bunch of thugs. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, they will definitely put pressure on you. They was putting pressure on W. Du Bois and other folks. Yeah, but they did put hands on feeding people. I don't know anything about a woman being killed, but I do know that they were very violent and they enforced, law and order like the mafia.
So he was
Like,
pretty much. So he. It's. I'm going to say this. He was a charlatan. That's what he was.
you're right. That's what they called him. A. Philip Randolph called him that to his face. He said, "See, you're a charlatan." Like he said, you are promising something you can't deliver.
Y'all going to hell.
You dig? So anyway, so of course it started to implode because some of the people who were told they would get this much money back on their stock, right? These dividends. They like, yo, what's up? I'm having some hard time. I'm trying to liquidate some of this stuff and pay some bills. And Marcus Garvey like, hey man, yeah, look, I got another ship you can invest in, and that's what he was doing. He was redirecting another ship, another dream. So this what got him busted. Okay, so the sister's right. His team started investing in ships that were no good. And I won't say that's his fault, but it wasn't his fault entirely. So he didn't have any skills on inspections, right? He didn't hire the right individuals, but a lot of those ships were like, they were setting them up, they were sabotaging them, right? So some of that's there as well. But he didn't know how to hire the correct people to even inspect the ship. He was paying like what Umar did, just paying a local guy to do an HVAC. He was paying local guys with really no skills, no expertise to like inspect the ships, and that's how he got. But he largely failed because he started to advertise for ships he never owned. The Black Star Line never owned. So that was the fraud, by the way, that got him sent under the creek, down the river, down back to Jamaica, when he started to sell stocks for ships he did not own. And that's when A. Philip Randolph was like, I gotcha. But what truly buried him is when he met with the Klan for that ACS mission. And then that's when A. Philip Randolph said, okay, we got him. And they launched the Garvey Must Go campaign. And his chapter was done because black leaders hopped on that bandwagon and they was behind him. Hey, J. Edgar, get this guy up out of the country, bro. And J. Edgar.
J. Edgar, too. You could.
Now look, I'm gonna say this in Ngozi. They can't blame J. Edgar, right? J. Edgar. They can't blame him because Chief, he was only, if you look at his history, bro, I redid it. He was only successful at undermining organizations that were full of SHIT. Okay, he tried to undermine Nation of Islam, got nowhere. He tried to Deacons for Defense, got nowhere. Other stronger NAACP, other stronger type organizations that wasn't built on scamming, they survived this infiltration. The weakest ones, the Klan, the Mafia, and the Garvey movement, which is all weak and founded on BS, they all crumbled.
See, people don't know that because when we hear about J. Edgar Hoover, like the black community, only the conscious black community say he was just attacking black people and black organizations, and they also they made up this thing about him saying, oh, there would never be another black messiah, but they don't know he also destroyed the Ku Klux Klan, and he's saying that was
Right.
BS as well. People
Right.
don't know that. This is the type of stuff that people need to hear.
Mm-hmm.
I appreciate that.
So now this is the interesting thing. So now he did get railroaded in court, right? Well, he tried to represent himself for one. He was his own lawyer. I don't know if y'all know that, but he was in there, Your Honor, objection. He was doing that. Now he got railroaded. Right? He did, but it doesn't mean he was innocent. How many cases now where it's a hung jury or some foulness go on and you get let go? But that don't mean you're innocent. It just means that the court was on some BS. Look at Young Thug. The court was on some BS, and he's able to escape a lot of the hardcore charges. But the court did railroad him, but I don't give a damn. You harming my people. So they got him up out of here. He went to Jamaica. He tried to continue on. They said kick rocks. He went to London. Now, did you guys know this? Did you guys know how he went out? So everybody brag about the failures he had in while he was living, right? Or in America. When he went to London,
He was
you know
poor.
this?
He was crazy.
Yeah.
He went crazy. He was poor. He was very
Bro,
poor.
the dude read his own obituary.
What?
Yeah. He went crazy. He was poor. And what's
So
interesting, he never been to Africa either, Unbiased Sport. You know that, right?
say that again.
He never been to Africa.
Yeah, I know that. Wait. Look, let me come back to that. Okay, so what I mean, Chief X, is that he had, because London, there's, Jamaica Island folks there too. They hated that scammer. So what they did was they purposely said he died before he died. So
Who
he
hated him?
read, he literally read he's
Wait,
dead.
who hated him?
The London Island writers,
Okay.
the black ones, they hated his gut because they knew he was a charlatan, a scammer. So when he
Okay.
came back, when he came to, he fled to London. They purposely said he died when he didn't die. So he literally woke up one day and read his obituary, like he's dead, like R.I.P. Marcus Garvey, a great guy. He read that, and then of course he died shortly with a stroke. Now I know he'd never been to Africa, right? So this is the scam, all right. So a guy who, matter of fact, he's like most Pan Africanists, even though today they talk all that talk, living right here with us,
Ain't going nowhere.
but they want to send us over there. So so that's typical of them. Like Baba James Smalls living right here in America. He got
Hey,
triple citizenships, but he's right over here.
before it's all over with, we're gonna Ngozi may bless us with some latest information or some new DNA study of the ancient Egyptians, and maybe he can spank Africa teacher tonight.
African teacher, he's on point, man. He don't claim the Egyptians being he's actually a good, if people listen to him, he's actually good with breaking it down because he doesn't claim them being black. African teacher's a great teacher. And the new research, they were not black, they were not sub-Saharan Africans, they were not people from south of the Sahara. They were indigenous with their own cluster, but they also had epipaleolithic Levantine ancestry that back migrated a very long time ago. So even with the recent studies from 2025, the Libyan mummy that they found in the specific zone, she had a unique cluster that belongs to ancestral North Africans that was distinct from groups in sub-equatorial Africa. So the Egyptians were their own. And the only population based off findings that matches up with Egyptians today are the modern Egyptians. The modern Egyptians are the ancient Egyptians. That's just what it is. The integration of anything else outside of that, it's not that. They were not black sub-Saharan Africans. Yes, there was a CHG signal, a Caucasus hunter-gatherer signal from populations that back migrated from the Caucasus a very long time ago that went into the zone, into those areas. The proxy that's used is Zuzana, which is basically ancient West Asians that back migrated, that also filtered certain parts of the Lesser Caucasus. They also found their way back into the Nile Valley and intermingled with the indigenous ancestral North Africans. So by the time you have dynastic Egypt, the population group was already fit into its own cluster with their own unique clines that's genetically distinct from populations that we descend from in sub-Saharan Africa. So the Egyptians were not Nigerians. They were not none of the people. Even the people in the Sahel who have a layer of this ancestral North African, a large layer of it is distinct because they don't have the later integration of the certain signature that came from Eurasians that came in multiple waves into North Africa. Some people was trying to deny the back migration that occurred. Back migration occurred multiple times at early as 23,000 years ago. Another layer with post-Natufians, meaning after Natufians, with the pre-prior Neolithic B group. That was a cluster between Natufians and populations from southern Turkey that back migrated and became the Fayum groups in northern Egypt in the Delta, and then came down and intermingled and later evolved into the Mahdi and the Badarians and later the Nakada, which all created their own cluster that matches up with people in the Levant or Palestine or those areas, especially in the Delta. So the closest proxy to ancient Egyptians in a specific time period, especially early dynastic, would be Bedouin B groups, and those Bedouin B groups fall in line with populations of Socotra and Yemen and places like that, compared to population groups in sub-equatorial zones of Africa. So when what they classifying as certain layers of West Asian is actually ancestral North African that went through a further genetic drift at a certain time. So the new findings and new discovery only shows that the modern Egyptians is closer to the ancient Egyptians. They only have an 8% increase of specific sub-Saharan African, but the 8% increase is distinct from the earlier motor signals that were there at lower percentages, even though their overall DNA composition fits in line with North African Levantine. And I think it's better to say that.
Thank you for that, Street Sufi.
Peace.
Unbiased. What do you want to touch on?
So I just want to circle back to just real quick, Carmelo Anthony. So like this is the rule of thumb. I feel like a lot of this stuff are learning lessons just for us in the future, right? So I just would say, this is a real true, heart to heart. If you find yourself bringing a knife to a fist fight, you need to really think what you're doing. if you find yourself bringing a gun to a knife fight, you should really rethink what you're about to do, because what you're about to do is use deadly force. That means ain't no coming back, and you better make sure that that's self defense according to your state, because each state self defense is different things, right? But you want to just make sure screen, so if somebody's attacking me and I got no chance but to defend myself in a violent, deadly way, I'm going to make sure witnesses hear me. Hey, leave me alone. I'm going to make sure, so when they start asking folks, they get my account and not somebody else's. Yeah. And is it worth it? It is getting out of your seat. Think about this. Hey, get out my seat, or go over there. And I got a knife in my bag. Again, this is going to be a possible deadly attack. Like, is this deadly attack worth this guy punking me out of my seat?
Ngozi and Unbiased. Why? Shout out to Dr. Turner. That's my homegirl. Kisses to you, Dr. Turner. Hey, Ngozi and Unbiased. What do you think the psychology is behind him running and throwing his knife? Like, this is like his own personal knife. To do that and then run and throw your knife. What would make somebody do that? What would y'all think?
I mean,
Okay.
he was guilty. I mean, he was scared. He was guilty, and he ran and tried to throw it. I just see a person. I think it was murder. It was premeditated. I mean, he did it. He tried to run. He knew he was bogus.
Okay. I would say that that's not throwing your knife. That's not admission of guilt. I can give you cases where people did do that. They hid their gun and they still got a self defense awarded to them. So that's not so uncommon. To get rid of the weapon that caused it. That happens sometimes. Any self defense claims.
When I watched, I just had. I said, you know what? Let me. We say listen to the experts. Street Sufi and Unbiased.
Yeah.
It's the same thing with law. You know what I mean? So I didn't went on and watched at least 10 different lawyers react, and 100%, all 10 was like, they just don't see no way out that he's gonna get off. You know what I mean? He's
Right.
gonna either do time for murder or manslaughter. So like, I just don't understand. Now I understand, so like, I understand caring about the kids. I care about the kid. But rest in peace to the kid who died. I hope the black kid, you know what I mean, turns his life around and end up doing the right thing. But um, I forgot my damn point. Shit. I just it's no way any sane black people who are sane and being genuine with themselves and being honest with themselves. There's no way black folk can think he's not guilty or think he didn't mean no harm at that time. You know what I mean? It's no way. So to me, I just think people are bullshitting, being disingenuous, and just taking sides because he looks like us. You know what I mean?
Not to mention, Chief X's girlfriend was Mexican.
What's
Hmm.
wow. So it was once I heard an interview from a matter of fact, it was a Mexican girl who goes to a school. Somebody clipped her in a little mini interview and asked her what she thought about it. She said she's surprised that he'd done something like that, but she also said he usually fights a lot. Shit. I said, so he is a tough guy, be got a chip on his shoulder and want to challenge people. That's exactly what she said. He liked to fight.
Yeah. So for me, if it goes to trial, look. First of all, like I said before on my channel, if there's any video, I guarantee you it's going to be a cop, plea or a drop charges, because the video is going to be one sided. It's not going to be two sided. It's going to be one side. It's going to show. It's going to show the truth on one side. It's going to be one sided truth. This video. So somebody's going to cop a plea right away, or somebody's going to drop the charges right away.
Yeah, because even Carmelo Anthony's defense team was being interviewed, and they said there is video. They said there is video. They've collected a few cell phones, and there is video of the incident. But they seemed kind of nervous about that video.
Yeah, Chief. This what the video got to show, man. The video got to show this dude Austin swinging like hell on him and just missing. You know,
Right.
cause now that can warrant, if he has if he's, that much is a size that much of a difference. If you're swinging trying to take my head off, that can be, if you got a size advantage, that could be seen as a possible, death blow. So yeah, so you can take that knife out at that point. And but what's working for Carmelo Anthony is this. For one, I heard he only, he only got one stick in there, right? He stuck on one time. That works for him. He didn't go and again and again and again. And then when he caught him, he said self defense. Like he didn't say some stupid stuff and then say self defense later. So he got a little, things that he did right. Okay. But I hope he did not go in any interrogation room. If he did that, he's probably done.
The only person who came up with a decent argument that they possibly may use, I heard was what's the Judge Joe Brown? Did you hear what he said?
He's a quack, man.
Sometimes I'm beginning to think Judge Joe Brown is making up stories now.
Yeah,
I'm
bro,
like,
he's a
it's
quack,
like
bro.
Judge Joe
He
Brown. You
makes up
mentioned
stuff, man.
Judge Joe Brown act like he knows everybody and every celebrity. So sometimes I'd be like, wait a minute, Joe Brown. I think
He's a
he's making
quack,
up.
man.
Hey,
But
Wait a
I
minute.
hear it though,
He
man.
made
He's
it.
a quack.
The argument he made was the only way he think he possibly can get off, maybe get a manslaughter, or maybe if get off, he don't think so himself, is if they claim that the kid was robbing him of his bag, committing a robbery, and he was trying to get his bag back, and he was just committing a robbery, and he kind of trying to defend his property and shit. Some shit he came up with, but I don't even see that. But anyway,
Right. That better be on video.
Hey, Chief, I was gonna say, George Brown is like James Smalls. They know everybody. If you listen to, they the same person. Before I go, hey, Chief, I'm gonna rotate, man. Thanks for allowing me. Come on, man. I appreciate y'all. Thank you.
I appreciate your
Yeah,
your,
yes,
your
sir. It's
input.
great building with you like always, bro.
All right. Peace.
Yeah, we all on the same page. I didn't know if we was gonna be on the same
I didn't
page,
think so either. I
but
thought I was gonna be the radical one.
but
Hey,
we
no,
are.
hey, no. I was gonna say
I
this.
just think us three we just like to be honest and just put it out there, let the chips fall where they're made. You know what I mean?
Yes, because but before I go, I just want to say this. My thing, I identify as African American. I don't. If Black Americans don't want to identify as that anymore, that's fine. But ultimately, we are Americans, and
Right,
people would be a fool to deny America. America is a beautiful place. I mean, we did build it. I mean, we are the
right,
foundation of the country. So for
right,
me, I'm foundational African American. But if
right.
some people don't want to identify as that, that's okay. But we all American.
Yeah.
I wouldn't go nowhere
You like that?
outside of this place.
You like that term unbiased? He said, what did he say? Foundational African Americans.
Yeah, I say FAA. That's me
Yeah,
because
I already heard Ngozi say that before, and like I said, even though I don't use that term, but like he said, the fact that he's saying American, that satisfied me.
yeah, because here's my thing: ancestors that were kidnapped were from Africa, and not to mention, they had their own ethnic groups. Those were Africans that were enslaved, but we also have to accept the people that gave them away on the continent. So when they gave them away, we're not gonna. I don't believe in being a victim. I don't believe in that. My
Right,
ancestors were kidnapped and brought here, and the people that gave them away were continental Africans who already had struggles and issues going on amongst one another. They did not see each other the same. Ghanaian people sold slaves. If you study the Biafra, you study the Mandinka owned slaves, the Fulani were enslaved. A lot of Fulani people that were kidnapped and brought to the New World. A few of them. Type up on Wiki, Fulani Americans. Yoruba were enslaved. They were enslaved later. The Igbos were enslaved and brought to Virginia. So if you understand that history of the different ethnic groups that was put over here, I identify with those Africans. But am I walking around here trying to kiss Africans ASS for approval? No,
yeah,
because I'm a foundational African American, which is distinct from a Nigerian American that recently come here. They're not
right,
foundational African
right.
Americans. That's just
Now
me.
look, before you go, wait, hold on, I gotta respond real fast, Chief. So because it goes open the door for me to say this.
Oh shit!
So our early ancestors, like the Frederick Douglasses and even the Paul Cuffs,
Mhm.
they didn't want to use the term African. I'm gonna tell you why. Because they seen African as immigration status. Like they knew that they would get no rights, no citizenship. They use Africa in any sense. So they all ran from that. That's why they normally use Negro, color, and everything else. I think like 5% of the population dared to use Africa, even when Richard Allen created the African Methodist Episcopal. Some leaders later after him wanted to change the Africa out of there because they didn't want to see that as a way that some type of loophole where they could be deported. So they all really ran the collective ran from that term for that reason. They didn't want to associate that with somewhere else. They wanted to be American.
And that's the thing. That's okay, unbiased, because here's the thing. As Americans, we can do that because I can see why some African or Black Americans don't want to identify with Africa. People feel that they don't have a connection with over there anymore because the lineages was lost here in the New World, and they are the foundations of the New World. So that's why I say for those who accept it, who know their roots, it's
Right.
okay. For
Right.
those who don't want to identify with that, it's okay,
Right.
regardless to us being identified as African American or Black American, we still American, and an African American would still be looked at as being Black. Because I couldn't go to Ghana or Sierra Leone because when you go outside of the continent and you go to Africa, they see you as American. It doesn't
Right.
matter it doesn't matter how many daishikis you try to wear, how
They
many
don't give
robes you
a
try
they
to.
don't give a shit. You American,
You
How they bone,
and they're trying to get your money.
That's it. They just trying to get your money. They see you as American. You can go over there, you can speak the language, you can learn, you can kiss they, but they don't see you as nothing but American. So that's why I say that Black Americans who do know their history, you don't have to kiss continental Africans ASS because there is a difference. We are a new ethnic group. We have a new cluster that's been formed, and we are part of the new world. And new is better. No one wants to do things the old ancient
right.
ways. That's why a lot of things is underdeveloped.
Hey,
So
wait, though. So and go street Sufis. I'm trying to get used to calling you street Sufi. Uh,
Mhm,
um, um, Kwame here been shooting shots at you, but I don't think he know you kind of you agree with this.
mhm.
What's on the screen? Can you see?
Yeah, he said Fulani was slave traders. Yeah, but Fulani were also enslaved. I want you to look up I want you to look up Fulani Americans. A few of if anybody that studied Black American history know that a few, like the prince that was brought over here was Fulani. It's over 12 Fulani people that were enslaved. We're not going to make Fulani unsub-Saharan Africans. Fulani people are sub-Saharan Africans, and that's what a lot of people trying to do now because they got sharp noses and thinner faces. They're Africans. Mandinka were
Hmm.
also enslaved. Ghanaian people were also enslaved. All you got to do, if you type up Fulani Americans and look at how many people were Fulani. Look up how many people were different ethnic groups. Those are sub-Saharan Africans. These people were not, and yes, they did enslave people. The Yoruba enslaved people too. The
See,
Ashanti,
we honest, Kwame. I call this I always say I'm it's Asante gang, West Side Asante gang, and Asante was the biggest slave traders over there.
yes, and the Asante definitely sold slaves. The Yoruba sold slaves. The Igbo sold slaves. All the victims or people that was put in that position sold slaves against other clans. And if you study Ifa or Ile Ife in Yoruba land, it depends on the region that you were. They got clans amongst themselves. So when you say things like the Fulani owned slaves, so did the Yoruba, so did the Ashanti, so did the Fanti. So that's what they were selling like the war. When you study the movie that was brought up about the Fanti people, those people were selling slaves. So we're not gonna make Black Africans innocent to try to say, oh, it was one ethnic group. So no, bro, study what really happened in the New World, bro. Seriously.
So me and Unbiased gonna stay on just for a little bit. But you want to close out, Ngozi?
Wait. Not yet. Well, hold on. Let me say one more thing and go street Sufi.
I'm
So
here.
back
I
to
mean, street Sufi.
America, back to Americo Liberians, right? So this is why they chose that name and didn't go to Liberia as Negroes in color. It said the term represented dignity, nationhood, and cultural pride, and it helped to affirm their identity as builders of a new nation rather than ex-slaves or second-class citizens. So even though so that's to like justify what we're doing over here. It's like, yo, we are, like you said, the ethnogenesis, we're a new ethnic group, so therefore we need a new name to uniquely and exclusively identify us separate from everybody else in the world. So even the Americo Liberians knew they had to come with a new name.
I mean, you have to. No one will give. Look, we live in a beautiful country that's 248 years old. If we look at the countries in Africa, Nigeria is the only Black country that's probably on the rise, but they still going through it. They only send the elites over here. They don't send the overall population that you see that's dirt poor, that's living in the streets. You feel me? It's very bad. when you really look at it. And a lot of them go to portions of the Western world to really prompt who they are in the sense of the greatness.
Yeah.
But if you look at their GPA, it's better than a lot of nearby African countries, but it's still
Yeah.
not as eloquent as African America. And if we take pride, Black Americans, I believe, need to take pride because we have to get out of the mindset of kissing other people's butts to look
Right.
for approval. We're not at that place anymore. We have became politicians. We have became doctors. We have invented things over here. We have became the bad guys, the good guys. All of it's beneficial. Even our drill culture is one of the most influential cultures globally. That's why you
Yeah,
got
yeah,
everybody. You got people in Ghana thinking they Chief Keef. So what I'm trying to say,
They over there
The
sagging.
drill culture.
They over there in Ghana sagging, doing all kind of shit.
that's what I'm
Man.
saying. So it's a beautiful thing for the creolization because we are I mean we went through creolization. It's part of what we are, but it's beautiful to be part of a hybrid cultural society. People don't know mixed societies thrive, and it's a beautiful thing when you look at the larger thing that's going on. But when you look at other regions where they're still stagnant, no, bro. So I like being part of the new world. I like identifying as African American, and I love being it. And I do respect my ancestors.
Yeah,
It's they, that's it.
I'm an American through and through. I love being American. Like people was talking about the other day, they was talking about segregation and all. Listen here, family. I want to be able to go leave my house and go to a Chinese food place. I want to
Right.
be able to go get some Greek food. I want to be able to go get some African food, some Mexican food. I love multiculturalism. It's not a bad thing to me. You know what I mean? These people be fronting. Nah, you will miss a lot of shit segregating.
I mean, yeah, I couldn't eat fufu every day. I actually love Japanese food. Japanese food is good. Fufu is high in starch, and it's not good for you. High starchy foods is not good for your body. So eating that every day is problematic. And there's nothing wrong with people that love fufu, but Japanese food is one of the best quality foods, and Mediterranean diet is healthy. I want to be healthy, so it's good to be in a place where I can pick, like Chief X said, my meal and say what I want to eat. You know what I'm saying? That's a beautiful thing.
Yeah, and also for resources, like 'cause we got different public libraries, different courts, that has this different Walmart has something yours don't. So I want to be able to for resource. I don't want to be stuck and limited to lack of resources in my neighborhood that was purposely, defunded and targeted. So no, yeah, I want to be able to go wherever I can publicly go and not be turned around because of my race and ethnicity.
You go somewhere, you go to these countries back home on the continent, because I still look at the mother continent, because I do identify my ancestors. But if you go back over, them people look at you crazy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a lot of like they opened up I think in Ghana, if you guys look it up, it was African Americans that went over there and opened up a jazz thing, and the people started. I think they said they broke into it and it was stealing the people's stuff.
Damn.
And they were also overly pricing African Americans that went back over. They got a habit of doing that. When you're American, they're gonna
Mm.
overly price you.
You
So
know what? You know what? When I was in Ghana, I met this dude from Oakland. He was over from Smash Rockwell neighborhood, and I'm in Ghana, and he's living there, right? So we on the tour, and we just rapping and chopping it up with him, and he said he was just about to open up a soul food restaurant in Ghana. And I couldn't believe that Ghana didn't have soul food restaurants. Like, no way. I said, "Hey, you about to make some money at this soul food restaurant." But anyway, he was like, he had two girlfriends, right? He had one his age because he was about my age. He had a girlfriend his age, and he had a girlfriend 25. He said he had to call his daughters and tell his daughters, "Don't come up over here. Don't come up out here hating on your daddy because he got a 25-year-old girlfriend." It is what it is. Don't come up here hating on your daddy because his
Right.
girlfriend was his daughter's age and shit.
That's funny.
and them women in Ghana is amazing. So it is what it is.
Damn.
It's a Ghanaian chick right now who I met out there. Got her information, and everything. I want her to marry my son so bad. She's such a good girl.
Man. Man. Straight up. But
Yeah. So
thanks, Chief.
you want to
Thanks,
close
Chief.
out and say something, Ngozi, before you go?
No, hey, I just want to say thanks for allowing me to come on, and peace to you, unbiased. Thanks, Chief
Yeah,
X.
peace,
Thanks,
man.
thanks to the whole panel. We'll be doing a show soon. Me and Chief X on Egypt, so we can break down some of this stuff. And I really appreciate y'all for allowing me to come on. And yes, my name is Street Sufi now. So this is
Street
this is
Sufi.
type of this is the conversation you wanted to have. I appreciate
Yeah,
y'all. Thank you.
I've been wanting to say that for a long time. Call him Street Sufi now, not Ngozi.
Yeah, a lot of the old things that we went through in the past was part of the evolution of where we need to be right now. It doesn't work. A lot of that doesn't work. And we want to have more. We want to have more people that's more interested and educated in this stuff to lead people, not just a specific black, everybody to the right direction of seeing people that can talk intellectually in an educated sense and whatever. So this is the whole thing now. This is my wave. I'm trying to motivate people that really want to learn and that's interested because I like teaching. So that's just what it is. So this is the new wave right here, and I appreciate y'all.
I appreciate you, man.
Yes, sir.
Peace
Appreciate
and
you as
love.
well.
Peace.
Peace.
Now, we're not gonna be long, unbiased. I said to myself, I'm gonna never do a show that's over 2 hours again.
Okay.
But anybody's welcome to come up and hit that link and question unbiased Ron. You
Yeah, I
got me.
dare you.
Unbiased Ron was over here disrespecting our brother Mark. Come get it, unbiased Ron. Hit that link. It's pinned if you
I
want to
dare
ask
you.
him a question before we get out of here.
Yeah,
You know
I
what I
dare
mean?
you.
So, hey, unbiased,
Challenge me
I
on
got a
Garvey with
question for you.
PanAfricanism.
I got a question for you because you know this
Yeah.
topic way better than I do about Marcus Garvey and Pan Africanism.
Mm-hmm.
Did Marcus Garvey do any good?
No.
Oh, come on. Just no, huh?
He was a complete waste of time, bro. He was a
Complete waste of time, you
like
say?
he was a nothing burger. He was a nothing burger. He actually set us back. That hard-earned money, bro. The jobs we had, and we got to give it to him to fund this imaginary shit. No,
Nothing.
man. The dude was a nothing burger. He set us back. He should never happen, bro. He did no
He
good.
said he should have never happened, you said.
Yeah, he did no
Was
good.
he any
Man.
good in Jamaica?
He's a failure 3 times. He failed Jamaica twice. He actually failed 4 times. He failed Jamaica twice. He failed in America. He failed in London. He's a 4-time failure.
Got to be more careful. I used to rep Garvey back in the day, right? So
Yeah, I did too. And
people today be like RBG, RBG, but back in our day, we didn't. RBG was just a flag, just the Black American flag. We called ourselves
right.
Garveyites. We used the term Garveyites. Here comes Chef. We use the term Garveyites.
well,
We didn't say we RBG. We Garveyites.
right. Yeah.
Chef
I
about to get
recall
you,
that. Yeah,
boy. He's about to get in your shit.
No, you're not. No, you're not. Hey, look, I called John Henry Clark lying ass on Marcus Garvey too, Chief.
You said what?
John Henry
Say what?
Clark was lying about Garvey.
Was he
I
lying
called
or
him
was he
lying.
wrong about it?
Lying because he knows better, right? Isn't he a black historian? He knows better. He's sitting there and lying about Garvey.
Chef, what you got to say
Leaving
about all
out,
this
like, the
fiasco
fraudulent
shit
stuff.
we've been talking about?
Hey, peace, Chef.
What's up? Peace, y'all. All right. 2 things.
You can critique us and get in our shit.
Nah, y'all good.
Okay.
You know, y'all information is y'all information. All right. But 2 things. The first one, and that's what I was going to ask you about the John Henry Clark, because I seen the video that you went in on John Henry Clark, and most people don't go in on John Henry Clark. You dig what I'm saying? He's always, you know, he seemed like the most sensible. You dig what I'm saying? Out of those older brothers, or older teachers, you know what I mean? But you found a lane to go at him. It was, you know what I mean? I found it interesting.
Right.
And it was, and then it's crazy because in our Discord, Brass found another way to go at him. So it made me rethink John Henry Clark. Yeah, it was unique the way that he went at him. And I wanted to get with you because I wanted him to interview you. Because I'm like, yo, I never heard nobody go in on John Henry Clark. You know what I mean? But Unbiased in the way that Brash just did it, right? In the Discord, I was like, man, you need to interview Unbiased, man, because y'all got a unique take on, you know, a way to go at John Henry Clark. And I had no defense for it. You feel me?
I'm just now. I didn't know Unbiased knows history this damn much.
Oh yeah, Unbiased. He do that. So that was the first thing.
Here comes trouble.
Yeah, it was the John Henry Clark joint, right? So yeah, we definitely want to do a show with you, Unbiased, interview more than likely, and you can add on your channel. I know you dig what I'm saying. So we just want to do it so you can You know what I mean? And I text you and you ain't text me back. And I feel some type of way about
No,
that.
you didn't. Wait, no, you did you? Was it 843? The number you text?
I don't know. It's one of them New Jersey area codes.
No, yeah, that ain't gonna work.
A 9 something, right?
843 ain't no
that's
Jersey
not gonna
area
work.
code.
Well, I got to check. All right. So, and then the other thing, Chief X zapped out on me over FBA, right?
Uh-oh.
Went ham on me, right? We got a viral clip of him going ham on me. That shit should be on TikTok, right? Because he went crazy on me over FBA. So, you know what I mean? I said, damn, how they don't understand this? Like, how they making this? And then the fact that you and Cheat Street Sufi just laid out y'all nomenclature for black people in America. You said FBA and Street Sufi said FAA. Basically the same. You dig what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You know.
Yeah.
And I thought Chief X was going to get y'all.
But the thing is,
I thought they about to get it now.
Before Brad say something, me and Unbiased Ron had the discussion on the phone before the live.
Okay.
He explained his ideology of why he say, but he said he's FBA and ADOS. And I hate when people claim to be FBA for my own personal reasons, but I ain't gonna do that here. But Unbiased kind of cleaned it up. Maybe he can explain after Brad say something. What's up, Brad? How you feeling?
I'm good. I'm just up here supporting.
Hey, peace, Brad.
Hey, what's going on? I'm up here supporting. I've been trying to chase down the FBA, ADOS, CIA, whatever, Ron, for like about a month now because I want him to crash out.
You wanted one. You're wanted, Ron. You're wanted.
Yeah, well, pause first, but second, I want to do a crash out show with him. So I want to see if I could pressure him into doing the show live. So I want to do a show with you. I did a very successful. Yeah. I wanted you to come onto the panel. I did a very successful. Okay, I did a successful crash out with Chief X, and the first person that they thought of was you, because they said you've been around for a very long time. So I want to pick your brain on some things.
Yeah.
So all right, yeah. But before I get you off of the live, how we gonna put your information in the back chat? I'll email you.
All right.
But no, Chief, I'm just here to support, bro. Great show. I thought you would get hit with a lot more shots over the Carmelo Anthony thing, but that seemed to have went over pretty well. I was assuming that Chef was gonna message me and say hit the button. But
hey, Brad. So
what's going on, G?
So it's a real easy email. It's blackthinktank@yahoo.com.
Okay, I'll email you after the show.
All right.
But yeah, I just want to do a crash out in the series. I got a couple people in mind, but Chef had been telling me for the longest you got to get Unbiased, so I'm gonna get you. Only thing is just a couple rules. You just got to tell the truth. That's the only thing. Is just one rule. You just got to tell the truth, even if it's gonna hurt some feelings. That's the whole point.
Me and Ngozi was having a discussion yesterday, and we really want to do another more comprehensive DNA show with the latest DNA info. But Unbiased also had Double X on the phone, ex-architect, right? So I would love for the ex-architect and Ngozi and Chef and all of us get down and have like one final powwow about the DNA of North Africa. Go ahead, Brass.
But no, I just came up with support. I liked it. I'm curious to Chef. Are you familiar with this Carmelo Anthony thing yet? Have you looked at it yet?
No,
I know we was talking about it.
Yeah, we talking about helping the young brother, but I didn't. I know the peripheral, like what's been stated in, the news clips about what happened. I haven't done no deep dive into it yet. I just respect what brass what y'all been putting out. You know what I mean? So if y'all feel as though it's something we should support, then I'm all with it.
We should do a
Yeah,
crash
he
out,
just got
do a
freed
crash out
today.
show.
I think. Yeah, I think I'm gonna wait up a little bit. Just I already sent some bread to his
Mhm.
defense team. But I'm gonna wait a little bit for anything for a large group because I don't want that to blow up in my face. I don't mind losing my money. I don't want to lose
You want to
nobody
be
else's.
object. You want to be objective,
Yeah.
huh?
Right, right. I'll lose my money. I just don't like losing other people's. But I saw that he was free too. He got freed right before your show,
Yeah, they
so he's
reduced his
home.
bail to two. They reduced his bail to 250 and put him
Yeah,
on
he's
house
home.
arrest. House arrest.
Yeah, he's home. So we'll see how it play out. Hey, Ron, real quick, I do have a
Yeah.
question though.
Yeah.
So when I first met you, it was just unbiased.
Yeah. Unbiased sports.
When did you become biased? Like when did you become FBA? What was the thing that brought it together for you
All
under
right.
that FBA ADOS?
Yeah. So I was always FBA. I was always ADOS. I just didn't want to speak on it. Like the same way I don't like to speak on controversial cases like Carmelo Anthony. I feel like they're just too. It's just draining the controversial. So I try to like stay away
Mm-hmm.
from things like that. So I like to stay away from because they had me and Chief X and hot fire, some years ago. So I said, you know what, let me just fall back on this racial, stuff. But the
Okay.
FBA thing, I try to stay away from it because I see where it was going, but it got to a point where the disrespect was just too common, right? So I said, okay, let me speak up for myself and let me just own the name on. Let me own the name out front to draw people towards me, so I can have these
Mm.
conversations.
Okay. No, I'll save everything else for the show, Chief. I love what you're doing, bro. I'll try to support the best I can.
You see how we had a good show with no talking over and no going acting a fool, Brass?
And yeah,
It's
we
called
really. Hey, look, let me say
yes,
this.
it's
We
called
we really
decorum.
we
Decorum.
really. Hey, Chief, we didn't. We just went over. Chief just wanted to get my understanding on FBA, like my how I thought. That's it. We really had no prep, so everything Ngozi was doing, I didn't know any of that stuff in advance.
Yeah, this
I
was
didn't
this
know
wasn't
Chief
this
thoughts
this
on
yeah this wasn't no
Carmelo.
this wasn't what they call it. We just kind of went off the head. We didn't prep for this.
Yeah, I thought they was gonna come at me when I start giving my controversial opinions on different things.
Now, what I've learned in these shows a lot of times, it's your intent. Even when you have the intent to crash out at some point, or you having a conversation about something that's what you used to say to me, Chef, all the time. People need to know when they won. But
Mhm.
like if you know you won the conversation and you still having it, it's only gonna lead to contention. And if you come in with the thing of intent, no matter how good the conversation is, you're gonna get to what you want. You're gonna get your issue. So y'all came in informational. So even if y'all didn't really know what it was, y'all ended up informational because that was the goal. So that's fire.
Yeah,
What do
thanks.
you what do you what chef? What do you think about Marcus Garvey?
Oh, oh man, that's crazy.
Good question.
I don't like to be against black people, man. Like I mean, I already got, well,
What about
I
Diddy?
agree.
What about Larry Elder?
I
Wait a minute.
agree.
Diddy didn't get out. They didn't let Diddy get bond, but they let the little homie get bond.
Diddy guilty.
go, go ahead,
Diddy
chef.
did it.
Uh, well, Marcus Garvey, I think I did a show already on Marcus Garvey, and I didn't speak very good of him. You dig what I'm saying? So, um, yeah, he definitely, more than likely, he was a scammer. You dig what I'm saying? I've went into his history of how it played out. Um, yeah, more than likely, he was a scammer. You know what I mean? And it seems like it was a particular class of black people that held him in high esteem, right?
Right.
So it's them and the remnants of them that's still around actually promoting, just like people who still promote Dr. Ben. You dig what I'm saying? Like it's a running thing. Like we love, you know what I mean? Like we was talking about earlier about W.E.B. Du Bois and them, right? But then even W.E.B. Du Bois, like we had a conversation today, and this shout out to Brass because Brass had brought up something about what's his name? God damn it, about John Henry Clark, right? And he made me look at John Henry Clark in a whole nother light,
Brass going to
right?
hell.
When I first heard Unbiased go in on John Henry Clark, I was just like Unbiased tripping. You dig what I'm saying? But then when Brass, who don't know nothing about John Henry Clark, you dig what I'm saying? When he went in on him, when he found out some information, I said, okay, well, them dudes ain't tripping. You dig what I'm saying? They finally found a way to go at John Henry Clark. But now Unbiased, yours was he was defending and still promoting Marcus Garvey.
He was glazing Marcus Garvey, and he even said himself. He said in his book he left out details because he said there's some things that need to be left out of history, and he got a standing ovation for
And that's crazy. Hold on.
plagiarizing.
So think about this.
Sound familiar.
Brad said almost the same thing about John Henry Clark, but when it came to Kwame Nkrumah. So my point, Kwame Nkrumah became a dictator, right? And he got ousted by his own people, right? And John Henry Clark, and how do you big up a dictator? Once he brought up, I said, damn. That's crazy. The nutty stuff he was doing to his own people. There's no way I could support it. Y'all remember how I went in on Queen Nzinga? I try to play it straight down the line. You know what I mean? Is nobody is exempt, right? So, but then if John Henry Clark could get hit with that, right? Then W.E.B. Du Bois get hit with that same arrow. Because he moved to Ghana and died there under Kwame Nkrumah.
Really?
He supported Kwame Nkrumah.
Wow.
Yeah, I
The
went
only
to W.E.B. Du
pushback.
Bois Museum in Ghana.
The only pushback with W.E.B. Du Bois is he died before Nkrumah turned into what he became. He died over there. And when he went over there, people think that he went over there to somehow unify Ghana and all of a sudden other. No, he went over there specifically to make a book for Kwame Nkrumah. And then he fell in love with everything that was going on. But he died way long. Well, not way long, but he just died before he saw. Yeah, he died before Kwame Nkrumah became the dictator. Kwame Nkrumah. Yeah, when he lost his mind.
I didn't know that. Dang. So why did he be praising this guy? Kwame in the chat be saluting.
Well, they use the defense of, and it's the common defense, and it is a valid defense. They use the defense of that this is the CIA, FBI involvement, this, that, and the other. Ghana had just gained its independence. But if you just look at the story with plain eyes and not this guy's my master teacher or my elder's eyes, and you just look at the facts of it, right? You could see they gained their independence already. And Kwame Nkrumah was trying to sort out, hey, how are we going to do this? So he was meeting with people in Ghana. These are freed people, independent of Britain, British rule. And when they couldn't come to an agreement, he just shut the whole thing down, declared one party. That's what a dictator does. That was my pushback for Reggie last night. That, a dictator is what Kwame Nkrumah did, got rid of all the other parties. Told everybody, wrote a referendum that 99.9% of Ghanaians now believe that he should be the ruler. He threw all of anybody that spoke anti of him went to jail. He threw all of the news in jail and declared himself dictator for life. Now he used the excuse of he had to do this against the Western powers, but as soon as he left, he was removed. Now, I'm not going to say the Western powers weren't involved because we were involved in everybody's business. But we can't, you can't oppression is oppression, even if we're doing it to ourselves.
Right.
And if Kwame Nkrumah is that,
Well,
then at a
yeah,
bare minimum, John Henry Clark should have highlighted that along with the good that Kwame Nkrumah did, and then in the very same token, let people decide. But if you just leave out everything because you want, you just want to veil everything under that Kwame Nkrumah was being attacked by the West, then I can't rock with that, because now you're saying black people aren't smart enough to make a choice, and that's my
right.
opinion. And that's just in a bare bones read. If I did more research, but I'm just not into that. I think sometimes these conversations need fresh eyes. That's what I always tell Chef. DQ told me that a long time ago. When you look at these things with fresh eyes, you're not in the community, they ain't your
Yeah.
elder, you have no ties to them, you can see it a little clearer.
Hey, Ron, I don't know if you want me to mention this how you feel about this one person, but this will piss everybody off. I'm just gonna say this. You can choose to. If I ain't gonna put you out there like that, but I'm just gonna say this. I'm just gonna say this because I said this a couple of
No, no,
years
no.
ago.
Say it. Say it. Say it. Say
Okay,
it.
so I said this a few years ago, and people flipped out. They didn't know. I said Dr. Khalid Muhammad is not a real doctor. People didn't know that, but now he has a bachelor's degree. But other than that,
Yeah, I never known that.
Yeah, I think that'll you might start a world war in that community if people that you
No,
talk about
I
somebody
think
being
Khalid
revered.
is so well respected.
Yeah.
right.
Him not
He,
being, I think that could be more of an honorary thing that the community bestows upon him. I
What about
never
this part?
remember. Go ahead.
He was a goddamn nut.
let me mute my mic.
That's why.
What?
That's why they put. That's why they put him out the Nation of Islam.
Yes.
Unbiased. I said I ain't gonna
Damn
put you out there,
nuts.
I
unbiased,
ain't
but I
will
know
I'm
your
not willing
feelings.
to go to war with the Nation of Islam. I ain't
No,
got
no,
nothing
No,
no,
to
he
no,
do
no,
got
with
put
them.
no.
out the Nation of Islam.
Yeah, no, no. I got good ties with Nation of Islam. They don't respect him at all, man.
Yeah, he got put out Nation of Islam.
Yeah, they don't respect him.
You know what I mean?
Like he they don't mention his name. He's like straight blackball. Yeah, the Honorable Mr. Louis Farrakhan knew that he was going to bring them down solely, right? All his anti-Semitism and this and that. The dude had a video. Listen, it was called "The White Woman Is a." He said it though, bitch. That was the legitimate title. The white woman is a bitch. And y'all think he ain't a nut? He had a whole hour something long lecture talking about how the white woman is a bitch. So this Islam was like, dude, stay away from us, man.
Hey, Unbiased, remember what he did when he came out to Fairleigh Dickinson University? See, he's like the straw that broke the camel's back was what he did at a college in New Jersey.
You talking
And
about King College?
yeah, Keene College, that's right.
Yeah,
And
yeah. When he was like
that was
bagel
that was
locks,
like,
yeah,
yeah, he lost his mind. He lost his literal
yeah.
mind.
That
And
lecture got kicked out, and that one,
that was the
he was,
one.
yeah.
That's crazy.
Bagel and locks, eating buttermilk complexion.
Yeah, man, he went in, bro. When I tell you he went in, that man went in.
And then when he had
I
the
guess he thought nobody knew King College existed.
Yeah. And you
that
know what the thing
that
is?
when that lecture he did called the Art of War, when he was talking about kill them all, kill the babies, the grandma.
Oh yeah, no, that was the debate. No, that wasn't the lecture. That was a debate with Anthony Hilder. It was, yeah, it was with Anthony Hilder out there. I think in California. Yeah, that was a debate with Anthony Hilder when he said, "Kill them all, dig them up, kill them again." Yeah, yeah. See stuff like that. But then he'll do great somewhere else, like on Phil Donahue. But guess what they're gonna do though, Chef? They're gonna bring
Go
up the
back to the
most
crazy
radical
shit you
saying.
said.
Yep. And then the whole message is lost, and that's what they kept doing to him.
Yeah, he did good on Phil Donahue. He went
Oh
at
man,
it.
I was so
Yeah.
impressed
He
when he
did
was
great.
back in the day. When I seen him on
Yeah.
field, I was enamored
Yeah.
with him.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He handled that crowd.
Yeah,
You
he
know what I'm
did good
saying?
against Sean Hannity too. He had the crowd against Sean Hannity.
Me and Unbiased was talking yesterday, and I said, because I said this a few years ago, and people think uh, uh, Dr. Khalid Muhammad got his ass whooped in that debate with the Christian pastor.
Oh yeah, Chuck Singleton.
Chuck Singleton spanked his ass.
Yeah, he cooked
Nobody
him.
want to admit this. Even my
Yeah.
elder, Mathuatar, said Dr. Khalid Muhammad was sad after that debate for a little while. He realized he didn't do good. But yeah, okay. So because like they're having a debate about religion, but both of them are using the Bible to make their points. Like,
Yeah, but Dr. Khalid didn't know the Bible. The pastor did. And that's what happened to him. The pastor called his bluff and cooked him.
Oh, I need to watch that.
Oh, yeah,
What is
bro.
called?
Dr. Khalid Muhammad versus Chuck
Yeah.
Singleton.
Hey, bro,
Pastor
you
Chuck
going
Singleton.
Yo, even
It's on YouTube.
even the energy in the room was favoring Chuck. Like how it normally favors Khalid.
Mhm.
The energy, everything was favoring Chuck. Yo, the crowd was with him. That was the most embarrassing I ever seen Khalid. The most shame he ever faced. And look, the pastor said this. He said, "Look, you out here giving out white. You talk all this black talk, but all he was into that black allergy. He said, you talk all this white, all this black talk, but your sources is white, man." He said, "Look at my sources," and he started naming all these Dr. Benz and stuff.
Chef, you got to play. You got to play that debate on your and do a live stream just on that debate and just play it.
Yeah, I might do that.
Yeah.
I might do that tomorrow.
Let people have a question and answer after it. It's a great debate.
I might do that tomorrow. Mm-hmm.
Yeah,
I'm gonna do that.
Khalid
Chuck Singleton.
Mm-hmm.
Yep.
He was a pastor.
Yep.
Yeah.
Christian pastor. I think was he from LA? I'm not sure, but yeah. Chuck.
Yeah,
he was a great debater. Chuck Singleton can get down.
Yeah. He had swagger. He made Dr. Khalid Muhammad throw his gun, bro.
People, but see, the conscious community does not want to hear that. They are so they were so mad at me for even saying that.
Hey, Chef, he was cooking Khalid so bad that when it was this, don't forget, this is Chuck Go, right? They had segments where they don't talk, right? He was cooking Khalid so bad, Khalid was cutting him off, and then Chuck was like, "Damn, what is this?"
Oh, like how Chief X do me.
Yo, so Chuck said this.
That's crazy.
Chuck said, "So what is this? A debate or argument?" Dr. Khalid said, "Both, bro." He straight threw his gun.
Chef, I'm trying to tell you, you're gonna have some good fucking views if you play that damn debate on your channel and do a live stream.
Yeah, that
just play the whole thing and talk about it afterwards.
Yeah, I'm writing that. I'm gonna write that down now. Chuck Singleton. Khalid versus.
We're gonna get out of here. You want to share something? You want to close out something, Chef?
Yeah, man. You said that what was we arguing about last night?
Doctor degree.
Yeah.
But let
what
me
you
tell you
guys
how
say about that? What you guys say about that?
Let me
come
tell you
clean.
How it
it's time to come clean.
This is how it started because when he was on the when he was being interviewed by Logic, began to try to spread some narrative that I didn't know the difference between an MD and a PhD. He just went on and on about it. But a few years ago, people didn't know. I don't know if you did, but the majority of people didn't know that Dr. Soikita was an MD. Everybody just thought he was just strictly a PhD. I had to tell no, he's an MD. He's a physician. You know what I mean? He's kind of like a medical doctor in the biology shit he be into and the angle he be into. Then they found out he was. So I had to tell people this. So that's what started that, Chef. So I had to say he's not a PhD, he's an MD. But I had done research on him a couple years ago because I was wondering why Afrocentrics is always using him. So I knew he went to school in Oxford to get his DPhil. So I just wanted to kind of argue that he's not considered a PhD in America per se, although they are equal. I admit that.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, DPhil and a PhD is pretty much similar, the same thing.
Mm-hmm. Yep. It allows you to do research and offer new information. That's what it's for. The MD, they're both doctoral degrees. The MD, it means that you're clinical, that you can actually diagnose and treat people as a physician. And not only is he can diagnose and treat people as a physician, he's also an accomplished surgeon. Right there. You dig what I'm saying? And he teaches, it's crazy. You dig what I'm saying? His credentials, if you get into it, like, yeah, you know what I mean? He like, I wouldn't play with him. You feel me? Like once I looked at your bio, I said, all right, he ain't somebody to play with. You know what I mean? The way that we go in on Dr. Ben for not having the credentials, but then we meet somebody. If he has a doctoral degree from Oxford, right? Like, don't play with him. Like, that's not even, you know what I mean?
Let me say the only difference is, just say for instance, my son is graduating high school, is a special person, and he got an invite or however they get to go into Oxford. I don't know how they get to go there, but he would only have to do 3 to 4 years, and he can have a DPhil, a doctorate of philosophy.
Yeah,
Right. So he wouldn't have to do like 7 years here. He can get a DPhil just doing 4 years of college.
No, he would still have to have an undergraduate degree that would take 3 or 4 years anyway.
that.
The doctoral comes after, right? That's an
In
advanced
America,
degree.
though.
Yeah, I know. So the in Oxford, right? That degree, what happens is it's how it's given. So like you got to do a dissertation, you have to stand in front of a committee, you dig what I'm saying, and you have to be able to back up what you're saying, like in a live shooting gallery. But no, I it's definitely the equivalent of a PhD. You dig what I'm saying?
I agree.
Yeah, they said it, and it's from Oxford, so we shouldn't either. You know what I mean? Once you start, saying that Oxford degrees is, you know what I mean? So he has 2 doctoral degrees. He got an MD and he got a DPhil and he got a master's. You dig what I'm saying? So it's like, whoa. But all right, y'all, good show. I'm gonna do that show on Khaled.
Wait, Seth, before you leave, it's a question for you and Chief X. Just a quick one. Do y'all know of Larry Elder and Thomas Sowell? If you do you believe they spitting facts?
I don't mess with Larry Elder. Something wrong with him. And Sowell, I have a book by Sowell that I like. But he leans in directions that give races ammo, right? Not saying that his it's like when you put out certain information, just look at who backs his information the most, right? That would give you a clear indication. Like if I put out something and I keep putting out information that racists love to use against my own group, that's kind of problematic. You dig what I'm saying? Like, if the KKK can use what I'm saying against my people, I probably should stop saying that shit. You feel me? I probably should stop saying it. You dig what I'm saying? And look at the platforms that he go on to say it. Now, if he came on, Black platforms and did it, then you could say, okay, he's trying to help. You dig what I'm saying? Right. But if you always go to the opponent's platform and spew that stuff like, yo, you look like an op, yo, like that's crazy. And it's not to say Black people, and this for you, Chief X, Black people, we know we got our own issues, right? When do we hide our issues? Who gonna tell you that your shit don't stink other than Black people? We famous for telling each other that. You know what I mean? So we don't need you to be gassing other people to do that, because we already do it. If a Black person get locked up, we don't sugarcoat that. How many people in your family you say, nigga, you selling drugs? Well, what do you think was gonna happen? You feel me? Like, we give each other the hard truth, but when white people do it, it's something behind that. You dig what I'm saying? We don't go getting in their business. So, you know what I mean? When they deliberately come over here to get in our business, it got some stank on it for us. So, you know what I mean? But what you think about it?
So let me answer that question though, because he asked us. So Somebody's asking you a question real quick though, Unbiased. You going live tonight? You see that on the screen?
It's a tether.
Who's that?
American Dream.
Now I don't mind if I you know what I told American Dream I want to link him up with Focus because Focus is interested talking. You know they don't know each other, but Focus kind of agree with me American Dream, so I think that'd be a good discussion because sometimes I want to sit back and listen.
So let me answer the
American
question.
Dream will cook your man Focus.
Yo, but Focus thinks nobody can cook him. You know what I mean? So
American Dream will cook Focus. I didn't heard you wrestle with Focus a couple of times. I think American Dream would get him. He'll frustrate him. American Dream frustrates me.
To that, man.
So Unbiased, I absolutely love Thomas Sowell and Larry Elder.
Well, the question is really for you. I gave it to Chef because I didn't want you to feel like I was, you know what I mean? But,
right. But I don't. Nobody can beat Larry Elder in a debate. He spanks everybody. But here's the thing, Chef.
Who did he debate?
Here's the thing. They don't want none. Here's the thing, Chef. Here's the thing, Chef. It's not that they just go on these other people's platform. These people invite them. Liberal black media is not and refuse to, and they've hidden Thomas Sowell for years. They will not allow them brothers on to go against their agenda of what they believe. Now, I think you may have asked that because this is Unbiased, because this is this white dude on YouTube who comes for Thomas Sowell. Is that what did you seen that?
No.
And he has amazing arguments. I'm scared to even let people know who he is. You know what I mean? He be coming for Thomas Sowell religiously.
Chief, I asked that because I'm gonna cook Myron Gaines soon, and I see his talking points, and I went down some rabbit holes, and so I think I know more about the single. First of all, I work in housing, right? So I know stuff that Larry Elder will never know. So I got a huge advantage, but not just that. But I did a lot of research, single parent homes and all the stats. He's misrepresenting facts, both of them, by the way, on purpose. And you'll never know if you don't look into this yourself. But they're both distorting the facts of single parent homes, what's causing it. So I know they're talking points, and they're both lying. They're mixing truth.
Okay, well, let's do a live. Let's do a live, and we'll have a discussion, me and you.
Yeah.
Chief X versus Unbiased.
Yeah.
No, Chief X versus Unbiased and Chef together.
Hey, brother,
I need 2 or 3 cats to get at.
Listen, hey, Chief, listen. You're not ready. You're not ready, bro.
I'm not ready.
You're not ready.
Larry Elder. You gonna defend Larry Elder, Chief X?
Oh my God, Larry
Elder.
Yeah,
Larry Elder talking points are so weak, Chef. I hope Chief X parrot those talking points.
I'm gonna spank both
cook
y'all.
them all, bro. I'm gonna cook all those talking points. He's distorting facts on purpose and history. And
okay, I'm gonna do my research. We're gonna get back on that topic next week. Hey, we're getting out of here, y'all.
That's gonna be easy for me.
All right, y'all. Peace.
All right, peace, everybody.
Peace out, y'all.
Bro. I'm gonna have you talk to my boy Focus.
Uh-oh, somebody calling me. Hello? Let me I'm gonna call you right back. Okay. Somebody heard me say Larry Elder and Thomas Sowell. Funny. Hey, we had 50 in a clip at one time, 50 watches, 41 watching now. Well, I appreciate y'all tuning in, right? I appreciate Chef, Brass, Unbiased, Unbiased Ron, Street Sufi. I appreciate y'all feedback and conversation. This was an educational live stream. Nobody talked over each other. Nobody argued. Nobody cussed anybody. Nobody insulted anybody. We had a grown folk conversation. You see how easy that is? See, when Chief X gets to moderating, it is what it is. Like sometimes I be thinking, like I be wanting to be a moderate the actual discussion on y'all's channel and keep some goddamn order. I'm great at it. So hey y'all, appreciate y'all. I'm out.